Kanchanaburi War Cemetery in Kanchanaburi province in central Thailand. We're a couple of hours north of Bangkok. We've obviously seen the Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery on the other side of the city. This is the one where all the Australian soldiers are buried. So again, another Commonwealth War Graves Commission cemetery. So the land given to us by the Thai people, and we maintain the graves and look after the cemetery. So here again, more Allied soldiers are buried, but a majority of the Australians are also buried at this one. So another beautiful, peaceful and very, very sacred and special place. So we go this way, you'll start to see some rising sun badges which indicate that they are Australian Army. So the rising sun badges are all Australian. So you'll see here the various badges, infantry, service corps. They don't distinguish the difference with corps badges on the war graves. They rather put the rising sun so that you can tell clearly that these are all young Australian men. And this one here, Rosenberg, that's a very typical Jewish name, so that's a Jewish Australian soldier. And you can see just how many Australians are. There is row after row, and looking around, they are all Australian, every single one on this side. And I believe over the other side is the combination of British, Indian and other Allied soldiers over there as well. Occasionally you might see a Royal Australian Air Force badge. I'll try and find one to show you the difference. But most of these are Australian on this side. Even a bit of aloe vera, look at that.
Nice flowers. 21.
You can see, guys, just how many they are.
I propose to make it 30 minutes.
Okay, so representing everyone. So just to show you, obviously, shows the day in which they were buried or died, their age, what corps they were, and obviously the family, if they've been identified by the families, the family can have a verse underneath on the bottom line. So you can see there, this one here was a medic, near and dear to my heart. So the Japanese did not discriminate, they did not recognise the Red Cross, so they killed medics, nurses, doctors. They didn't discriminate, which is a very sad part of World War II. Hopefully never ever has to be repeated, and that Red Cross will be observed after the Geneva Convention was written. Too many, some young, a little bit older. When you see the rank on the top there, this one's a sapper. That means they work for the Royal Australian Engineers. You can see RAE there after the 2nd 12th Field Company. A private, so soldier. A gunner, so he worked for the anti-tank regiment, so this is the one that fired the big guns to blow up the tanks.
And this?
Private, just a regular soldier. Royal Australian Artillery, so firing the big guns. So many. These are all Aussies. So if I come over here, these are still Australian, and we'll switch it up a little bit here. These are the British soldiers here. One there, one there. So these were the British soldiers that were working side by side with the Australian soldiers. Lance Bombardier, so Royal Artillery, which is British artillery. You'll see the difference, Royal Australian Artillery versus Royal Artillery. One thing missing, the Australia in the middle. And then we move over to an Australian grave, and you can now tell the difference. So there we go, guys. Okay, so here we go. Infantry, machine gun battalion, another machine gun battalion, and we switch over here. This one here is quite interesting because it's Flight Lieutenant Titherington. He's got the Distinguished Flying Cross. So this gentleman was a highly decorated Air Force pilot who obviously got shot down or killed at some point. So there we go. There's the Royal Australian Air Force badge. Per ardua ad astra, which is underneath. It means to fly beyond the stars around the throne of Mars. There you go. That's the only bit of Latin I do know. Another Air Force, Flight Lieutenant, and again DFC after his name, meaning Distinguished Flying Cross. Again, both decorated pilots. These guys probably were in the same plane together.
Yeah, it's all cross. Pilot.
Another pilot, again.
Surgeon.
And then this one here.
This is officer.
Air gunner. So this one, Royal Air Force. So British Air Force now. So you can tell the difference now. The same meaning of the Latin alphabet, or the Latin words, per ardua ad astra. But again, you can see the slight difference in the badges from British to Australian. There they go.
Wow.
Yeah, they're Air Force guys. Very good. Pioneers, British soldier, Royal Army Service Corps, back to Australia again.
This is all Air Force. H-24.
Oh, this one says he's a pilot too. Yes, because back then, guys, officers are pilots today in the Air Force, but back then, sergeants and warrant officers were also pilots because they ran out of officers to fly the planes. So they started training senior NCOs and warrant officers to actually fly.
No, this one is different. That one.
Queen's Royal Regiment, British soldier. Royal Engineers, again British. Royal Air Force, Queen's Royal Regiment. And finally, I've been looking for one as well, Navy. So there's the Royal Navy. So this guy served on ship number 382. I'll have to look that up and work out what that one is. But Able Seaman Brown was in the Royal Navy. So there we go. Phoebe Mercer, Women's Voluntary Reservist. So one of the only females to have been killed. She would have been a nurse or support staff, supporting the Allied soldiers. And as I said, the Japanese in World War II did not discriminate. Men, women, doctors, nurses, they didn't care, which is quite sad, obviously. But here they are. So couple of Navy, couple of Air Force signals, back to Royal Air Force again. HMS Sultan, another ship in the Royal Navy. So, and again, A Mashak. So Lance Naik, that is the Royal Indian Navy at the time. So you might find that a bit strange, but back then India was part of the Commonwealth and Indian soldiers served right alongside Australian and British soldiers. C.D. Jones, 10th Gurkha Rifles. Gurkha's very, very famous for being fierce fighting soldiers, very brave. So he attended the Royal Indian Engineers, so absolutely fantastic. And there we go, guys. So guys, that was the Kanchanburi War Cemetery, where most of the Australians are buried here in central Thailand after serving on the Thai-Burma Railway in World War II, and others that were died obviously in the conflicts here, saving this part of the world. So hope you enjoyed this amazing cemetery maintained by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, which do a fantastic job. So until next time,
May your journey be a safe one, everyone.
God bless
Bye for
everyone.
now.
Bye for now.